Basketball in Britain has always seemed trapped in a cycle of reinvention. Leagues form, fracture, collapse, and return in some new guise. In 2025, we stand in yet another transitional moment, the short-lived Super League of Basketball trying to bridge the wreckage of the disgraced BBL and whatever comes next, under Marshall Glickman, the BBF, and perhaps even the shadow of Adam Silver and an NBA Europe experiment. Half a century earlier, in 1972, the sport stood at a crossroads all too familiar. The governing Amateur Basketball Association rolled out yet another attempt at a national league. 6 teams, still committed to their own local competitions, were asked to carry the flag for the game. Crowds were small, money was tight, and so the league turned towards sponsorship, slapping brand names across jerseys, halls, and scoreboards. The boldest example were the Bruno Roughcutters, backed by Ogden's Tobacco and named outright after one of their products. Based in Liverpool, playing out of the D-side Leisure Centre, they were led by Vaughan Thomas.
The sports science course is the brainchild of the formidable Dr. Vaughan Thomas, Master of Science, PhD, Olympic basketball player, British international runner, Welsh badminton player, former national cycling champion, RAF fencing blue, and a qualified coach in swimming, mountaineering, tennis, rowing and boxing.
Okay, start pedaling.
Dr. Thomas believes that good brains deserve good bodies. He believes in fitness. Not your common or garden morning exercise fitness either, but the kind of fitness that comes from driving his students quite literally to the point of exhaustion.
3, 2, stop. If they're going to be able to advise athletes and sportsmen how to reach championship level, then they really need to understand what it feels like to do that which they are telling other people to do. Our own psychological studies reveal that sport is a vehicle for sadism and masochism. These things come out in a socially acceptable form, perhaps.
What do you think about Dr. Thomas when he's yelling at you like that?
I hate him.
He brought in Larry Meek from San Diego State, plus Great Britain internationals Dave Potter and Willie Cameron, and the 7-foot-plus Chris Greener, England's tallest man.
When I was in America, the very first question that the children were asking me, little kids that size were coming up to me and saying, "Who do you play ball for?" And I had to explain that I didn't live in the States, I lived in England, but I did play basketball in England. And they said, "Oh, who do you play basketball for in England?" So I told them, it didn't mean a lot to them.
You start in early age to play basketball?
Yes, very early, 24.
That's early. Lasted for...
Sorry?
And lasted long?
I played about 5 or 6 years, yes. I played for England, which I'm very proud of. And unfortunately, in the early 70s, the standard actually rose very rapidly. And I had to have an operation on my foot.
Are you Tkachenko or not?
No, not quite.
Greener's short spell on court served as a reminder of just how quickly the game was maturing, moving beyond novelty and toward a league ready to stand on its own. Britain's tallest man might have drawn the crowds, but size alone was no longer enough. The Roughcutters were learning quickly that this new national league was about skill, speed, and survival. They battled gamely, but fell in the playoff for the league title to Avenue, both sides finishing 8-2. And just like that, the Roughcutters were gone. Ogden's pulled out, and after one turbulent season, the club folded. The National Cup belonged to the London Latvians. A year later, they merged with Islington to form the Islington and London Latvian Embassy All-Stars. Their player coach was Peter Sprogis, a wiry Canadian-raised guard who became a kind of folk hero for the growing capital-based club. At the same time, the league map was shifting. Doncaster and Manchester joined the competition, Avenue moved north from Leighton to Edmonton, and, most importantly, Sutton merged with Crystal Palace. Out of that marriage emerged the first true dynasty of the English game. Their lodestar was Jim "Golden Arm" Guymon, NBA and ABA draft pick whose career in America had been derailed by illness. After failing to stick with the Phoenix Suns, he crossed the Atlantic and gave British basketball something it had not yet seen, a level of guard play bordering on world class.
Jimmy Guymon, the first time he arrived off a plane near Oxford, American Air Base, for training sessions is Tom Wisman, getting him out there. So I got Jimmy. After he'd hit 49 straight, he missed the 50th and he kicked the ball. He'd got 49 out of 49 and missed the 50th. And he went mad. I thought, Christ almighty, what have we got here?
Alongside Leeds-born Fred Petty and future coach Tom Wisman, Guymon led Palace to the League and Cup double. The following year, Peter Sprogis's Embassy All-Stars struck back, taking their own League and Cup double in 1975. Sprogis capped the Cup win with 36 points, including the game winner in an 82-81 thriller, while the arrival of smooth-shooting American big man Steve Schmidt showed how transformative the right import could be. The rivalry between Palace and Islington raised the standard of play and grew new audiences, but national broadcasters refused to follow suit. Apart from fleeting highlights on Grandstand or World of Sport, the game remained stuck on the margins.
So why don't you try it one Saturday afternoon? Join me for World of Sport at 10 to 1.
The attendance at the Cup final for the past few years shows an astonishing growth rate. The figure has risen from 600 in 1970 to 2,700 in 1974. 4,000 turned up last year, and now the figure has shot up to 7,000. Promotions all over the country in the National League and Cup, in international matches and countless other events are drawing packed crowds. Soon British basketball will reach the stage of basketball throughout the world, where it is clearly established as one of the top 2 spectator sports. Sadly though, the British public is still deprived by the media. The European Cup final took place in Geneva on the 1st of April, and 16 countries took the game on television via Eurovision. But inexplicably, Britain was not among them.
Football, rugby, cricket, even professional wrestling drew more national airtime. By 1976, Palace doubled down.
Io Cinzano Bianco, signora.
Thank you.
Ah, yes, gracias.
Ah, due?
No, mine was a Cinzano as well. Ah, that's better. Oh, can't you just smell those Italian wines, suffused with herbs and spices from 4
continents.
I'm being boring. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Getting your head down, sweetie. Not a good idea.
Tom Wisman, combustible on the sideline, took on coaching duties. He lured another New Mexico Lobo, Mark Saiers, out of a banking career in Albuquerque with the most lucrative contract in British basketball history, £14,000 a year, plus a car and a flat. Saiers joined Guymon, and together they wrested the crown back, winning another League and Cup double, edging the All-Stars in both competitions. Palace repeated the feat in 1977, snatching another cup from Islington by a single point, 91-90.
Several times a week, I would go to a library or post office and read newspapers that were kept in racks. Among the stories of soccer, rugby, tennis, and lacrosse was an article about a contender for England's Basketball League Championship. The team's American coach, Tom Wisman, had a hard-earned reputation for flamboyant, or churlish, behavior. Photos of him always captured him in the act of throwing his jacket or heaving a folding chair onto the court in reaction to a ref's call. It took a few hours to find out where they practiced, and I showed up the next day with a notebook, pen, and camera. After a couple wary moments, Wisman said to come along. I hung out with the team throughout practice, listening to the squeaks of sneakers on the court, the whistles, the drills, the ball clanking off the rim. And I sat with the coach as the players showered. He invited me to the championship game. Cinzano cruised to an easy victory. They were again the league's champion. Wisman met with the sports writers and shrugged. It wasn't very hard. Much of the team's success was because of Mark Saiers, a former University of New Mexico player who was 25 at the time and was the league's top scorer. He did not find playing basketball with Englishmen to be much fun. It was a hackathon, he complained. Holding was constant, and they used opponents' shoulders when they jumped for rebounds, he said. And the refs didn't understand the game to make a decent call. Saiers and his roommate were a striking contrast. Saiers, 6'7", was earnest and assumed he was going back to the bank after a few years. He was a very sober boy. His roommate and teammate was Larry Dassey, a former star at Kansas State. He was a stoner. I know because he got me stoned.
In 1978, they did it yet again, completing an unprecedented three-peat. But Wisman's showmanship and constant criticism of the league boiled over. He refused to accept the winner's trophy and was banned from coaching in the competition. The season also saw a historic step toward furthering Britain's relationship with other European basketball powers as Crystal Palace's owner organised the first Phillips International Tournament.
The stars were aligned. So, back in 1977 it was. I think it was 77, it might have been 78, but I think I'm fairly sure it was 77. EBA had signed a contract with BBC to stage a tournament over the New Year period. They would look at, they had a gap, BBC had a gap, EBA couldn't organise it, so the only club that can do it is Crystal Palace, because they play in Europe and they know people in Europe. Now, we had just been sponsored by Cinzano. Now, one of the best teams in Italy was Milan, who were also sponsored by Cinzano. So I knew I could get them. And I think the other team was Red Star Belgrade. Mm-hmm. And they came across, and Embassy All-Stars were our rivals, what used to be Latvians, and Peter Strogis and his team. They were a good team.
It took place over the Christmas and New Year period and would be broadcast by the BBC.
Well, we thought we couldn't beat Cinzano Milan, but Larry Dassey from Kansas City had other ideas about the whole thing. It was an amazing display. I think he scored 45 points in one game and about 50 in the other. He beat Milan and Red Star Belgrade almost on his own.
Yeah.
And BBC were over the moon because it was a British team actually getting to the final. He won 106, 103, something like that. And we were made. They wanted the WICB Championship again and again and again.
The national media was beginning to pay more attention to the growing popularity of basketball.
Well, I bet William Jones had a lot to do with it, because he was very British and he was president of FIBA. He was a very influential man at the WICB when he came over. And he didn't go to many tournaments, but he used to come to ours. I didn't know how to treat him. He's coming here. Well, how do you treat him? What do you do? The best thing you can do is to take him upstairs, sitting down in those nice comfortable seats there, put a bottle of malt whiskey in front of him, and he'll be fine.
The WICB ran for over a decade, serving as a showcase for the world's best teams as well as a sandbox for FIBA, who used it to test out rule changes such as the three-point line. While England experimented and expanded, north of the border, Boroughmuir continued to set the standard. Bill McInnes, already named Britain's first Player of the Year in 1971, led them to their long-awaited Rose Bowl victory in 1972. They collected every Scottish League and Cup trophy until 1977, when Paisley finally broke through. Paisley had moved from Penally in 1972 and steadily climbed the ladder. They lost Willie Cameron to Palace in 1975, but in 1976 to 77 they made the biggest splash yet, signing American guard Chuck Chambliss, a 6-foot 2-inch scorer out of NCAA Division II and Canada. Chambliss torched Scottish defences, debuting with 52 points, then hanging a record 67 on Edsel.
If one event were to be singled out as the best thing to happen to Scottish basketball this season, then it must surely be the arrival of American Chuck Chambliss. After the departure of their 6'10" centre, Bill Cameron, Paisley looked like they were heading downwards in the basketball ladder. Chuck has had a trial with the American professional basketball team, the Buffalo Braves, and last season finished top scorer in Canada. All this is surprising as Chambliss is only 6'2". It should be said, however, that he has the leap of a gazelle and is able to dunk the ball backwards.
He averaged over 40 points per game and dragged Paisley into a title race with Boroughmuir. They fell short in the league, but in April 1977, behind 40 more points from Chambliss in his farewell, Paisley beat Boroughmuir 82-80 to claim the Scottish Cup and end the Bar's 9-year streak. That win opened the floodgates. Other Scottish clubs rushed to recruit their own American imports. Boroughmuir's core aged, and Paisley struck again, taking the cup in 1978 behind captain John Turner, point guard Dynamo Ali Drysdale, and big man Bobby Archibald, then capturing the league title in 1979. By the late 70s, the National Basketball League was expanding. Multiple divisions, a women's section, more money, and ever more inventive sponsorships.
Ovaltine. Has there ever been a better way of ending the day?
The Zybart Doncaster Panthers leaned into the absurdity, even joking about having their players change names by deed poll to give the sponsor more airtime.
It occurred to us the other day that an ideal way around the BBC's ban on mentioning a sponsor's name would be to get the entire team to change their surnames. We could thus have Cliff Zybart, Ian Zybart, and so on. Since, however, the players seem loath to adopt this proposal, how about individual players obtaining sponsorships from different firms? Dave Ladbrokes Middleton, Ian Gillette Day, Brian McDonald's Dunn.
67-65, and Doncaster in the lead. So the white shirts of Doncaster attacking once again. in, but Saiers replies. Day. Well, Ian Day won't forget this game. Saiers, Tinsley. Tinsley's in, but checked out. Now, timeout, surely. Oh, there's the dunk. So, the crowd thoroughly enjoying what promises to be quite a thrilling ending to this Butlins National Cup final. 67 to Crystal Palace, 71 to Doncaster. Each team have had one timeout. Bell, they must, oh, an error! Oh, a disaster! And the foul against, it's got to be against Belk, surely. John Belk, well, it's a nightmare. He gave the ball away. The 10-team foul situation has been reached by the Doncaster team. So free shots.
71 Doncaster, Crystal Palace 70, and this young man realizes that this shot is indispensable. 33 seconds, and Doncaster will definitely attempt one shot. One shot wins the game.
They mustn't give Crystal Palace a chance to come down court again if they're going to take a chance on winning. Done. Crystal Palace don't give up easily. There it is. Oh! Redford! Redford with 8 seconds left. Oh! It's a charging foul against Kenny Walton. Oh! Doncaster, Team Zebra from Doncaster have won the national title, their first time in this final, and what a performance. 73 to 71.
Well, clearly a great triumph for Doncaster and the whole of the Holy Yorkshire Empire, as we call it down here in the south. But I must say, one of those old gentlemen there getting rather too excited for his own good, I thought. But congratulations to Doncaster. A very fine win in that final.
In 1979, the Zybart Doncaster Panthers won the League and Cup double, breaking Palace's stranglehold. A new NBA-style playoff tournament was added that year. Palace, now renamed the Chevrons thanks to yet another sponsor, won that prize. As the 80s dawned, both English and Scottish basketball were entering a new phase. Imports were now central, league structures more complex, sponsorships more brazen. The sport had momentum, but its foundations remained fragile. And in the summer of 1979, 2 players named Bird were drafted by the Boston Celtics. One would transform the NBA. The other, in time, would transform British basketball.